listening to Into the Spotlight with Osaka Jack on Everfree Network. Hello everyone, this is Osaka Jack with Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network. With me today, I have someone that I have technically met in person, though I believe we were both bouncing off of the walls in a terribly busy schedule at the time. Mr. Markarian, hello.
Hello, it was great to be here.
I believe you might be one of the few people that I've had on my show that I've actually met in person. Brief though it was.
It was brief but great, and thank you for all of the paper fans. We truly appreciate it.
Yes, that's right.
They were very fun.
That's right. I sent about 45 some odd $1 fans to Everfree Northwest. I forgot to do that this year. Oh no, I don't have time before it starts. I'm sorry.
Oh, it can be forgiven.
Oh good. Oh good. I'll try to raid the 100 yen store later this week and just send another gross metric ton of them.
Well, if all else fails, we can make a run to Daiso.
That's kind of where I got mine. I forgot that that's an international company now.
Yeah, we've got a couple little branches here in Seattle. Though the nice one is pretty hard to get to because it's in a mall downtown.
Sure. There's actually they had a bit of a controversy at the Daisos over here recently. They increased sales tax from 5% to 8%, and the question was, do we start stocking 1 yen coins at these Daiso now? Or do we maintain our 105 yen price? They went with the 1 yen coins. I'm guessing if you have a dollar store that your profit margin's pretty thin to begin with, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, if anybody is not aware, could you describe a little bit, who are you? What do you do?
Well, I guess as far as our community, I probably best known as one of the co-founders of Everfree Northwest.
That little thing, yeah.
That little thing, that little corner of Seattle. We're looking at our third event this year, so we're really excited coming up here on 4th of July weekend. And right now this year I'm serving as media liaison for the conventional media press, and I still serve as our board president for our governing nonprofit Pegasi.
Okay, all right. There was a bit of an adjustment from last year, wasn't there?
A little bit. I was serving as media director last year, and now our good friend Pony Tim is taking that job on, and I'm just kind of providing advice and support and doing the conventional media escorts, and between that and the actual nonprofit administrative stuff, it's keeping me plenty busy.
Okay. I'm sorry, I have gone blank. What is the nonprofit organization? Which charity are we going with this year?
We're still sticking with the Seattle Children's Hospital. We've really enjoyed working. We've really enjoyed working with them the last 2 years. We've our 2 live charity auctions for 2012 and 2013. We've raised over $35,000 for the Seattle Children's Hospital.
Very nice.
We're really hoping we can break last year's record, which I think was over $20,000. It was definitely over $20,000, and it never ceases to amaze me how generous and how infinitely giving our community is. It always blows my mind.
Yeah, I can understand that. The most recent Japan PonyCon, there are no auctions and charity events at Japanese conventions. It just doesn't happen. It's not that they're against it. It's just like not part of the culture here. But no, we had one. We had a silent auction, and we raised about $500 for Tohoku Relief Fund.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I was really proud. So yes, it is always nice when they're able to do that. You mentioned something there that just has me curious, because when I asked what is it that you do, you said, well, in our community, which implies that you have a larger secret life that I don't know of.
Well, I don't really have a secret life, so to speak. I am a musician, and that's another thing that I've been involved in both inside of and outside of the My Little Pony fan community.
That's right.
So, I've released a few tracks, that are pony themed, and when I'm not doing that, I'm, composing for independent film and doing my own original work. So
And I suppose there's none of the non-pony or non-original stuff we can speak of yet, right?
Well, I mean, there are some original things that are, that I have recorded just for myself, just my own creative work that I can share. But as far as the films that I've worked on, unfortunately, because they're making the festival circuit and they're student films, I'm not allowed to link to them yet, which is frustrating, but it's
sure
how things go.
Yeah, I can understand. I admit I do not understand I understand not wanting to be able to put it out there, but I would hope that you could mention it. Yeah, I worked here. See? That's me. You go and listen to it.
Well, soon enough, it'd be nice to show it off. Yeah.
So we'll keep track. I did want to mention, though, one of more recent things on your YouTube was a Littlest Pet Shop cover.
Oh, yeah. That was, so I guess technically not pony related, though it's... True. It's, so many of the same people are involved with creating that show that it's sometimes you can forget that there's a distinction, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I think that is the most recent thing that I've posted. That was a few months ago.
But something that interests me on the description of that was flat out you saying, I do not read music.
Oh, yeah, I actually have to put that disclaimer in every single one of my songs because
really? Okay.
I get requests for sheet music for, my covers and my original work because, the style of music that I play, I do a lot of contemporary classical and adult contemporary kind of piano work, that the kind of people who gravitate toward that style of music are people who are classically trained. And I am not. I actually taught myself how to play piano.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I've been playing for 22 years and composing my own material for about 15 years. So I have to kind of disappoint people and say, I'm sorry, I don't have sheet music to give you. Here's kind of the lead sheets and chords. Like when I do stuff that has, lyrics, like, something like, Los Angeles Lullaby or The Bee or Monument, those songs I can kind of provide a lead sheet to kind of guide people because I do understand chords. Because when I was, learning back when I was, 9 or 10, that's how I kind of started off. But from there, I just took it on my own way.
I see. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, you mentioned a Los Angeles Lullaby. That was for two friends.
That was for two friends. Yes. They're, if you are also familiar, I'm not going to mention them by name, but I will say that, those who are close to them, and who are familiar, who've spent enough time on DeviantArt and looking at the cover art can probably infer who they are. But yeah, that is a song it's very personal and very special to me. And, it is, I think it's my most recent thing that I've posted with lyrics.
I think so, yeah. What was the overall drive in creating that? Was it just? Was it a song that occurred to you, and then you said, "Oh, this will match those two," or was it you were aware of the situation and said, "I've got to write something"?
It was definitely the latter. I mean, there's just a lot of emotion in that kind of a situation, and I can relate to it so well because the theme of this song is being away from someone that you love so much.
Sure.
And the pain of separation. And, my partner, Steady Binding, we had an online relationship for years before we were finally able to afford to be together.
Sure.
In real life and live together. And we've been living together for I think almost 10 years now.
Wow. Congratulations.
And thank you. And, but we had known each other for, 7 years before that. So, we knew each other online for over half a decade and never actually met in real life.
Wow.
So, in this situation, when two people who are in love and very far apart, for reasons that they can't control.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And as a friend, to watch two friends that you care about so much, to be apart from one another and to see the pain but to also to see the hope and the optimism there. It's one of the most inspiring things that I've ever seen.
Sure.
It takes so much strength, and that really is where the inspiration of the song came from.
Okay. Yeah, be sure to check it out, everybody. It's on the YouTube channel. Now, one of the other songs, The Bee.
Oh yeah, The Bee.
The name from that, I assume, comes from the Studio B.
Mm-hmm. And that is their internal nickname for it. It's like, oh yeah, I worked at AKA, now I work at the B. I mean, that's kind of their little slang term for it. So the song is, it's that one is fairly self-explanatory. It's basically dedicated to the production team that work at DHX Media Vancouver, formerly known as Studio B.
Right.
And these are the people who are the primary creative driving force behind this show that we love so much.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, since it has gone from Studio B to DHX, if they have changed it to the D.
The D.
Just to make a lot more jokes.
I think that the term is kind of, I think the term might be specific to the people who were there before the name change. And I got a lot of people who were posting, even though in my description it says, Studio B / DHX Vancouver. There were people on Twitter and on YouTube who were trying to correct me. It's like, no, it's not called Studio B anymore. And I'm like,
I'm going to change the name of a song just because something changed.
Is that I understand and I am well aware of that. Thank you for pointing that out.
I'm wondering if those people look at old newspapers and say, this isn't true anymore.
It's like Slowpoke reading the news.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Well, not even that. It's like somebody who watches the news on CNN, then goes back to the 1985 newspaper and says, no, things are different now. Why don't you change this?
It's not called USSR. Get it right.
Really?
Back in the Russian Federation. Come on. What the heck is wrong with you, John Lennon?
I'm just reminded of 1984, where every time the war changes, they have to go back and readjust. No, we haven't been at war with them this whole time. It's been at war with the other person the whole time. Sorry.
Exactly, yes.
My apologies. So now we'll extend that to songwriters. We'll just have to... The song would just be, and it's called the DHX.
Well, it is funny. There is a point where songwriters have to be, songwriters have to change things around a little bit just so it fits the music better. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is a lyric in there that I wrote where I said, first it's written, then it's boarded, then it's thumbnailed, then it's sorted. Mm-hmm. And that was pointed out to me by one of the storyboarders saying, actually, you've got the order, it's out of order. And I said, I know, but it sounded so much better this way, and it rhymes better. So, I know these procedures are a couple of weeks apart, but can we have it just for the song?
Yeah. The fact that they're able to recognize that part is wrong does mean that they're listening, though, at the very least. You have to pay attention to something to be able to point out the smallest errors.
Well, they live and breathe it, so it's something that'll show up pretty quickly.
Yes, very true. Well, the screen name that you've chosen, or been chosen, I suppose I don't know which one, is Markarian. What is the etymology behind that?
Markarian is the name of an Armenian astronomer.
Good Lord.
And
okay.
I heard the name in one of my favorite movies, which was a Jodie Foster movie called Contact.
Got it.
And one of the characters whose name I can't remember just throws it off there saying, and so is studying Markarian 332. And I'm like, wow, that's a really cool name. And then I looked it up, and that became kind of that stuck as my internet handle since like 2000.
Oh, wow.
And, and because I've had it so long, I've managed to get that as my name for, most stuff that's been around since then. I mean, I've got, DA, LiveJournal, and God, remember LiveJournal?
MySpace.
DA, and then of course Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
which I was very lucky to get that because, Twitter has been around since 2006. So I remember when it came out, when Twitter came out, I booked the name, then I didn't use it for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I booked the name, I got followed by a bunch of Armenian news bots. And last year, I got a lot of people just tearing me apart, cussing at me in Spanish.
Really?
Just some of the most florid insults and graphic, depictions of things involving my mother that I've ever heard.
Goodness.
In Spanish. And it turns out that there is a, Markarian is not an uncommon Armenian surname. I should point that out.
Okay.
But there is a Peruvian football coach of Armenian descent named Sergio Markarian, and spelled the same way.
Sure.
I mean, Markarian is an anglicized pronunciation. I think it's Markarian is
okay. Gotcha.
To be super nerdy.
Right.
And I don't speak
Push
Armenian.
up your hipster glasses. Originally the name was Markarian.
But actually, no, I'm not Armenian. I don't speak Armenian, and people think that I am, but because of the name. But
oh, trust me, if I had a nickel for every person that just says, "Wow, you speak English really well," thanks. I'm born in America, so I'm kind of hoping I would. But anyway,
this football coach was rather unpopular, and I guess was not leading the was not I guess leading their team toward the World Cup the way that he should have been. So a lot of people in South America were just roundly abusing this guy on Twitter because they assumed, oh, this guy must be the most popular person in Markarian. So of course, naturally, he's at Markarian. So because I, have very little patience for sports rivalries, I decided to have some fun with this. And I started using my limited knowledge of Spanish, plus Google Translate, which makes things always more entertaining.
Yes.
And start posting things like, if we want to drive our team to victory, we need to stop kicking the round ball and start kicking the oval one. Also, goal! Just hashtag goal every single time, because these people wouldn't stop cussing at me in Spanish, so I figured I might as well play along.
Sure, why not? Let's have fun.
Strangely enough, not a peep over the last couple of weeks. I'm very surprised.
Huh, interesting. As of recording this is the middle of World Cup season.
Yes, it is, to clarify. We're in the middle of the World Cup, and
Japan has stopped caring because Japan lost. Last week? Oh, so excited. Yay, World Cup. This week, what now? Some kind of soccer game? I don't know.
Okay, we're going home.
Yeah. I think Japan's just like, oh, we didn't win soccer. Okay, anyway, we'll just continue our World Baseball Classic Championship. We'll just keep going with that. I feel fortunate enough to live in a country that has enough sports where the complete destruction loss at one, doesn't make the entire country angry.
Yeah, that's good. And obviously, here in the U.S., everything's so regional that, it's not like, the U.S. is usually very uninterested in competing on the world stage for any sports. So,
yep. Though we do call it the World Cup or the World Series for baseball.
Yeah, go figure.
Anyway, sorry. I find that funny that you're not getting anything for World Cup, though.
I am very surprised and very disappointed, too. I mean, anything I can do to use my coincidentally similar social media name to be disruptive in the field of world sports. I want to do my part to cause discord, because it's just so. No, I'm just kidding. This is obviously a very busy time for us here at the con. So using Twitter has become a valuable tool to communicate with people in the pony community. And the last thing I need is a bunch of, frothing at the mouth soccer hooligans, calling me names. So.
I can follow. I cannot. I'm quite thankful that there are no businesses that use the word Jack over here. So. Though I believe I should start up a rivalry with my Panamanian cousin.
Oh, Panama Jack, yes.
Thank you for getting the joke. I appreciate it so much.
Well, at least you'll have some cool shades if you get mixed up with him.
Yeah, very true. I did not choose the screen name with much thought, but I'm rather happy at how many idioms have the word Jack that I can just pretend to be all about me.
Well, it rolls off the tongue quite nicely.
I'm a jack of all trades. Woohoo! Okay.
Similar to our director of IT, who's, by the way, very awesome, jack of most trades.
Okay. That actually sounds better when you break it down. Because jack of all trades, they can't do everything well. At least jack of most trades is being somewhat honest about it.
Well, the fact that we have a web system that works and works very well is we owe to him. So shouting out to Jack of Most Trades, because your name is so similar, thank you for all you've done for the con.
That is a good thing. So as of airing this, it'll be just it'll be just over 36 hours before the convention starts when this airs.
No, we're still we're still a week and a half away. No,
when it airs.
Oh, when it airs, excuse me. Yeah. So yeah, we're
there's no way I would be able to get an hour of your time if we were 36 hours before the convention aired.
It's not very well likely.
I know this. Frankly, I'm surprised that I got time now. I kind of expected to hear, after convention I'll have some time. Okay.
Yeah, we move into the hotel. Those of us kind of on the senior staff, we move into the hotel basically on Wednesday and don't leave until the following Monday. Mm-hmm. So, it's.
So shout out for the people who are trapped in the hotel as of listening to this. Woohoo!
Yay! We're having so much fun.
Wear masks, guys. Seriously, wear face masks. I didn't get sick at Everfree Northwest, and I attribute it to wearing a face mask when I was in my room.
I also attribute it to the blistering heat.
That was blistering heat for Seattle?
The first year it was. The first year was abject misery, and I want to apologize again, even though it's 2 years. 2 years later for the hill, the legendary hill.
That's not the description I used. I heard often when describing it, but yeah, we'll say legendary. Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, this is a PG-rated program.
Indeed.
And,
yes.
Unfortunately, the epithets used, ascribed to that particular incline, I cannot repeat here.
Yeah. For anyone who does not know, Everfree Northwest, the area is very beautiful and it's very convenient, but there are not a heck of a lot of restaurants right there. There is, however, a wonderful Denny's within walking distance, except that the original hotel used, you had to walk up a significantly steep, long hill to get back from the Denny's. And I'm sure, having walked that hill only a few times when I was there, I'm sure having to do that on a daily basis multiple times would have gotten old very quickly.
Well, and also, the main issue for the first year with the hill is that I can't remember, Jack. Were you there for 2012?
I was not. Only 2013.
The hill I'm referring to is specifically because when we first started Everfree Northwest, we assumed that we were going to be a very small convention. Mm-hmm. And we were told, by a couple of people who had started some other, major conventions in the area, like, WesterCon and SakuraCon, that, okay, you're a first-year con, so expect like 350 people. And instead, we got 5 times that amount. And basically what we had to do is our original venue, which was the Holiday Inn, which is now under new management. I don't know what it's called now. I forgot. But our original venue was only able to hold maybe like 500 to 700 people. So we had to expand into the Marriott, which was a block up that hill.
Right.
So half of our events and programming were split between 2 different properties that were, a good couple city blocks up a steep hill away in the 95-degree heat. So,
yes.
My heartfelt thanks go out to every pony who came for 2012.
Honestly, I would be more thanking people who came back despite that.
Yes, that is a very good point. And we did a video diary, me and Royal Coat, where we had to poke fun at that talk between 2012 and 2013, because now we're in a new venue that can hold quite a few more people. And if you would like to, if you can cost justify patronizing our hotel's very fine restaurant, then all your needs will be met, and you don't have to leave the premises.
Yeah. A large amount of Japan PonyCon staff are going to be at this year's Everfree Northwest, and they were nervous about how to get around and how to do shopping and things. I was actually able to show them, no, it's very easy. If you take the bus from right here, hold on, let me show you on Google Maps. Let's screen share. Okay, here's the hotel. Go out, turn right. Here's the bus. You want to get on I think it's the 158. That'll take you to the South Center, or Westfield South Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, South Center. We live a couple miles away from the Westfield South Center Mall, which is just, has everything you'd ever want as far as, that whole, couple mile stretch. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I'm going to try to do, and I cannot make any promises on this because I just thought of it, a couple minutes ago.
Right.
Was contacting the local regional manager for Uber and Lyft and tell them that, hey, there's going to be this convention going on. Mm-hmm. You might want to tell some of your independent drivers to kind of be hanging around the airport, because when we first had our con in 2012, Uber and Lyft weren't really quite developed.
Okay.
But since, over the last year, Steady and I lived downtown, in downtown Seattle by the water, and Uber was a lifesaver. It was an absolute necessity, and it was so cheap, and it was so convenient,
right,
and so economical that I think that it might actually be the saving grace for our location's relative dearth of dining options. So
that's
let's see how that goes.
I was able to walk the staff down. I'm like, okay, if you turn left and go about a few kilometers, there's a Jack in the Box and Taco Bell. But no, that would be good. The only thing I'm going to say is that South Center Westfields?
Well, Westfield is a company that owns. It's just called South Center Mall is what it's. Okay. It's South Center Mall.
But seriously, South Center Westfield Mall. Could you put more directions in the title of your name, please? South, Center, and West. All in the same name. Come on. Choose two, please.
Well, don't get me started on Washingtonian address naming conventions because, Washington addresses are like they tried to have it make sense like Utah, but instead, because of all the water and the hills,
right,
it just ends up being an absolute mess. So people's addresses are like 97345 South 157th Street Northwest. It's just like it's so Byzantine. They all have numbers, they all have directions, but they can't just have 123 Cherry Lane.
Right.
I mean,
I still, despite, I admit this fully that Japan Post is one of the best companies I've ever worked with, but I do not understand the addressing system here because every building has its own address. You just have to write the building's name and it'll get there.
Now, I was
street
told
number or name.
I was told that the address convention in Japan is based sequentially off of not where the building is located, but the time it was built.
This has a truth to it. Yes, I know my address references the street that our building is next to, but not really on. But yet all of my mail reaches me, so I'm like, fine, whatever, that's okay, sure. I just can't imagine somebody doing part-time postal work here.
And I can't imagine trying to navigate Japan without Google Maps. So
it's gotten so much easier in the last few years, yeah. When I first moved here, it was kind of, it was very, very difficult.
Well, Japan is definitely on me and Steady's list for world travel, and I'd be definitely love to look you up.
You've mentioned that you haven't gone to a lot of PonyCons, and I'm just saying, Japan PonyCon. We've got 3 a year. Come on.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that, for some reason, my music has become fairly popular among Russian bronies.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't understand why. And but like it became really popular, and like Lennox, who did the Gypsy Bard for Friendship is Witchcraft, who I've also done music for too, now that I remember. He did a cover of one of my songs.
Oh, nice.
An instrumental version called Monument.
Okay.
And this song actually got covered live in Russian. So like there was like on everypony.ru, which is like the main Russian pony site. They actually translated the song to Russian, not just like machine translated, but they actually like someone sat down and took the time to translate my music to Russian.
Oh, cool.
And there were people in the comments, saying that, there are more than, several Russian pony fans who would love to meet me. And
well, there you
go. Current political climate in the Russian Federation aside, I would love to go and meet these people. It would be absolutely phenomenal, I think.
Man, perhaps I should just start a Kickstarter and we'll just have a World Pony Tour. And you have to contribute a lot, but you'll go to Japan and then to Russia and then Crystal Fair and just a World PonyCon tour.
Oh, Crystal Fair should be quite a ball.
It looks really promising, doesn't it? I wish I could go. I'm very pleased I can go to the conventions that I do go to, but yeah.
I definitely cannot make Crystal Fair this year.
No, there's no way. Well, I have to mention it real fast. I have to fan a bit. Your cover of This Day Aria is really good, and it's really good. Sitting on the train, getting home from work, I need to snap, and this is going to calm me down music.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, that was one of the earlier things that I posted.
Over 2 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it feels, my involvement with ponies has felt like this, encapsulated segment of my life, and it basically, it just feels like it's been so much longer because so much has happened.
Right.
But yeah, thank you. That song was still, in my opinion, the coolest musical number that has been in ponies, hands down. And, just the swelling orchestration, the visuals, the storyboarding, everything about it is just so perfect.
Yeah. Except for the one animation error, but it still looks cool, so we'll forgive it.
I think Top Draw can be forgiven a little bit.
Oh, no, it's not a blame thing. I think it's a stylized choice. It's just if you try to do one eye open that much and one eye squinting that much, it really kind of hurts.
I'm sure it hurts in real life, too.
No, that's what yeah, okay. But no, I agree. It's an excellent song, and I think your cover of it's really, really nice.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for you to start doing similar soft piano covers of some of the heavier techno songs.
Oh, like which ones?
Oh, just like off the top of my head, if you would do a soft piano version of Discord.
Oh, yeah, that I haven't tried that one. I've tried my hand plinking at the piano for Luna.
Oh, okay.
Also by Odyssey.
Right.
Which is an earlier one.
Right. Still
very
popular, I think.
It's complex because I always want to do, double octaves, the da 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 da, and that takes a lot of coordination.
Sure.
that I don't always have. It takes a good day for me to get that right.
Right. I'm also wondering when we're going to have Everfree Northwest piano bar. You wheel a piano into even just like the little bar that they have at the lobby. You just wheel up with the piano. Play for a few hours, people drinking, have fun.
Well, they have a piano on a truck, on a piano truck, which is the dolly that you can push it around easily because piano casters are tiny little things normally that you really aren't meant. Yeah, but they have one there, and I was at another convention where at the same location where I asked for that to be unlocked because normally it's got a fallboard lock that keeps it closed.
Sure.
And I asked for it to be unlocked, and so that I could play it. And then later, somebody stomped on the sustain pedal and broke it right off, just sheared the brass. And, I felt very bad about that, and the hotel was not too pleased.
Sure.
So since then, I've been leery about asking for that to be opened because, obviously, as president of the company, if there's any like serious damage and liability, they're gonna come knocking first.
Right.
To me,
of course.
That aside, there is, in our video diary that we did, there is a video of me playing that piano because we had the hotel to ourselves to shoot the feature. So it was just me and Railcoat, and we got free run of the entire hotel, and there was just not a soul there. It was really fun to shoot that.
Oh, everybody who's going to Everfree Northwest, I'm going to give you a little hint real fast. You don't have to walk through that hallway if it's during the daytime. You can walk through the atrium area.
Which hallway?
The hallway just next to the dealer room. If you want to get from the dealer room area to the main stage area, you don't have to walk through that hallway with all the hotel rooms. You can walk through the atrium.
Yeah, please actually don't walk through that hallway because that's kind of our operations corridor. Our staff are bunked on that room, and all of our operations offices like registration and con-ops are in that narrow space. And not to mention the restrooms. So if you can keep that area clear, every pony, please do so. That would make our lives so much easier.
And I still insist, avoiding cramped hallways with very little airflow keeps you healthier.
Yeah, and especially if you're suiting, it's going to be very hot. Drink plenty of water.
Goodness, yes.
Take care of yourself. Avoid sugar. Please avoid sugar. Avoid high carb stuff. Just eat a lot of protein. Make sure you're fed and you're watered.
Yep.
3 meals a day.
6-2-1.
6-2-1, exactly. 6 hours of sleep, 2 meals a day, 1 shower or bath. You know the drill, every pony.
Minimum. That's a minimum. That's not an upper limit. And be cool.
Yes, be excellent to each other.
Totally.
Remember the spirit of the show. It should be a nice, fun con.
I think it will be. It's looking to it's shaping up real good. A lot of guests on this one. Yeah,
we've really kind of tried to branch out and diversify. We're very, heavy toward the voice talent side in the previous 2 years, and now we decided to we wanted to bring in some of the IDW people, and we wanted to, go with, we really wanted to bring the new people in this time because the last 2 years we had, some of the same people twice in a row, and we absolutely, adore working with them. But, we wanted to bring some new blood in this year because we're trying to shake things up. That's why we've got, Rebecca Soiche and Marika Hendrixie, and I probably did not pronounce either of those correctly. But, Gilda and the singing voice of Twilight Sparkle.
Right.
And of course, Kathy Westluck is returning after, skipping a year. So we're happy to have her back too.
I just want to know, when are we going to hear Pips VA? Why is this boy not invited to other conventions?
Oh, Newt Pippington British hooves?
Well, no, not that's actually the Friendship Witchcraft version, but yeah, that character.
Oh, there's another version? Oh.
Well, the actual the actual Pip.
I'm such a shameless fan of Friendship is Witchcraft that that I actually get. It is sometimes like I forget the distinction. Like I've seen Foley Matropony more times than Canterlot Wedding. Partially because I worked on some of the music from that, but it's just so funny that I can't. It's always like
very difficult to watch the Luna Eclipse and not hear the background bass for the "I'm the Princess of the Night."
Yeah, I mean, the song is so hilarious, and if you ever get Griffin and Jenny on from Sureclop Hones and ask them the story.
They've been on, yes.
I mean, again, because I know you've had them on before, but if you ever have them on again, ask them the story behind Luna's voice. It's pretty hysterical.
Yeah. Well, a question that I ask in each of my interviews, in all of My Little Pony, what would you say is the one line or one scene that defines you most?
Defines me?
Yeah.
Or
speaks out to you most?
The scene in the first episode, where in the second half of the first episode, in Return of Harmony, Elements of Harmony,
right?
Where, Twilight, the chips are down. Twilight thinks that she's absolutely just that all is lost, and you hear down the corridor, the Twilight. You hear Applejack's voice call out. Mm-hmm. And then there's the rack zoom in on our face, and there's the spark in her eye, and then she explains what that means. Mm-hmm. I've never seen friendship described so intimately and so accurately before than one scene, because that's exactly how I feel when I see my friends.
Yeah,
and it's just that really spoke to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of things in the show obviously that really spoke to me, but that was just, that was one of that was definitely
defining moment for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see that. That's a good one. And the more times you watch it, the more you can pick up on that and the audio of just the short little inhale.
Exactly. I mean, it's just that is just one of those moments that just shows how much care is put into that show and how much thought.
Yeah.
And especially, that was basically Lauren was completely in control of that episode, and you can really see a lot of the heart that she put into that.
Yeah, that's very true. Somebody pointed out to me the dichotomy between that episode and the season finale for season 4. Episode 2, we're not letting you go in that forest alone. Episode 4, I need some alone time. Okay.
Well, I think that it does kind of show how the characters have evolved as friends and gotten to realize, who they are. I mean, I think that it speaks really highly of the main 6, or rather the main 5, who basically they didn't know Twilight well, but they knew that they wanted to protect her and they wanted they wanted to be a support to her, and because they didn't know her well, they defaulted to being protective because. She didn't know about the Everfree Forest. Mm-hmm. Twilight presents herself at the beginning of the show with a kind of, exasperated naivete that evolves. I mean, you can see that the show is, she is the main character. The show follows her. She is, we're seeing these events mostly unfold from her perspective. Mm-hmm. And, in the beginning, they don't know who she is, but they do know that if they want to be her friend, and I think that's why they let her. They wouldn't let her go in there alone.
Yeah.
Plus, they were also really wanted to know what was going on with Princess Celestia not being there. So
that's true. That's if there's one thing that I haven't been quite happy with in the show's development. I don't like how the Everfree Forest has become from a scary, terrible place where nobody should enter to, meh, we can visit it if we want to.
Well, I think that part of removing that sort of mystique of the Everfree Forest was the introduction of Zecora.
Yes, that's true.
So I think Zecora's character kind of embodied the
unknown.
Exactly. Yeah. The bridal, in Bridal Gossip, we kind of get that object lesson, that moral of, don't judge something by its looks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and I think that she makes some sort of mention about the Everfree Forest being, not a scary place. That is her domain. And indeed in that episode where Trixie returns, I'm trying to remember what the name of it was.
Magic Duel?
Yes, Magic Duel. Thank you. When Trixie returns, the Everfree Forest serves as a kind of sanctuary.
Yes, that's true.
For Twilight. Mm-hmm. It's a refuge for her to go and to get the insight she needs to defeat Trixie.
It's not, and except for opening of season 4, when even Zecora has to flee the Everfree Forest because it's gotten too dangerous for her, which shows you how bad it's gotten.
Right.
But that's really the only time in recent episodes where the Everfree Forest is shown as a dangerous place.
Well, it always kind of...
I can headcanon that, I'm sure, if I think about it, but...
Well, I when I briefly tried my hoof at writing fanfic, I mean, Everfree Forest figures pretty heavily into it, but it's not really. It's scary to the ponies of Ponyville because it's unpredictable, not because it's inherently dangerous.
Okay.
But it's because it's not ordered, it's not predictable, it's not. It is not under Celestia's control. It's not under her wings.
I see.
So basically, it's not so much that the Everfree Forest is inherently dangerous. They just don't know what they're getting into.
Right. Okay.
And of course, Rainbow Dash, with her usual, panache, plays it up, and basically tries to make it seem like it's a lot more ominous than it really is.
Right.
So I mean, that's we chose the name Everfree because we kind of live in this Washington is always kind of associated with this alpine, sylvan, kind of, heavily wooded, environment. And,
yeah, not a lot of trees around the hotel. I was not disappointed because I live in the middle of Osaka and I don't have a tree for 2 city blocks, but still, I was expecting, deep log cabin in the woods, and no, that's not. I'm joking. I'm just joking.
And yeah, I mean, and being that close to the airport, you're not going to see as much foliage.
Yes, very true.
But I would recommend that if anyone, if any pony who comes to Everfree really wants to get kind of that Washington forest experience, and it is very beautiful here in the summer. There's a state park called Squawk Mountain, and I'm not making that up. That's a local American Indian name.
Sure.
And that's about, I'd say 35 minutes from the hotel.
Oh, nice.
It's a really easy drive. You go up to Renton, which is near where I live, and where they make the Boeing 737 that you probably flew in on. Made in Renton. You go up the hill and you can look it up. It's Squawk Mountain without a W.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful park. I've done some photography there, and
I would just continuously make bad jokes. I would never refer to it as Squawk Mountain. I would always just say, "Yeah, have you been to Squawk Mountain?"
Well, I'm sure the mosquitoes would punish you for that.
Every time, yeah.
That is the only caveat.
So that would be actually interesting. Put out a little flyer or just info. Hey, want to see Seattle? While you're in the area, check out here.
Well, I think that, as far as looking, at local attractions, the hotel does kind of have that covered. They've got the concierge there will, make sure that, any pony who's, wants to go see what there is to see in Seattle, it's very easy. And I cannot stress enough how easy it is and how fortunate we are to have a venue that's right next to the Link Light Rail, which provides an absolutely just direct line directly into downtown for just a couple of bucks. And you can see all the things that make Seattle. You can go see Pike Place Market. You can go see the Seattle Space Needle. You can visit the first Starbucks, though why would you want to? It's very crowded, and there, if you want a real taste of Seattle coffee, and those who know me fairly well will know that I'm something of a coffee snob. If you want real Seattle coffee, I highly suggest you check out Seattle Coffee Works, which is right next to Starbucks.
Okay.
The
fact that there is a coffee shop that can exist right next to Starbucks and not be in financial trouble, that speaks very highly of the quality.
Well, when it takes 30 minutes just to get into the first Starbucks because it's the first Starbucks.
Right.
Incidentally though, the first Starbucks is one of only 2 Starbucks in the world that has real espresso machines and not push button auto fast food machines. So the coffee there, you are going to get better coffee at the first Starbucks than you will anywhere else. But it'll also take a very, very, very long time for you to get your coffee.
Which most people who go to Starbucks do not want to wait.
That is true. But yeah,
no judgment. I mean, if you want to go, fine, go for it. But yeah. Now
there is that we do have a there is a super auto Starbucks like the hotel's bar and grill Spencer's does serve Seattle Starbucks' coffee.
Okay.
Though it's kind of a limited menu, so if you need espresso and there is coffee on the premises, and there isn't really, as you said, Jack, there's really not really a lot of dining options around the hotel. But
I can recommend, if anybody is going, I did this and I didn't regret it one bit. First day you go to that 7-Eleven right there and buy a case of bottled water. It's not expensive, and then you have a bottle of water every day or anytime you go back to the hotel room. It's really convenient.
Well, and all you really need to do is buy a couple, because we have, we have water stations and dispensers set up all throughout the hall, throughout the dealer's den.
This is true.
Throughout the vendor's hall, we've got all sorts of different. We want to make sure that our attendees are hydrated, and if you bring a water bottle and if you have a renewable, one that's eco-friendly, that's made out of glass or plastic and not disposable, we would recommend that.
Yep.
You can fill those up at the water stations, and we have drinking fountains. So, it's more just being mindful of keeping hydrated than needing to find water nearby. However, if you are on a budget, I would recommend finding someone who has a car and carpooling down to a wonderful store that we have in a town called Kent called Winco that I'm a very big fan of, and they are literally the cheapest grocery store I've ever seen. They are cheaper than Walmart. They are cheaper than Costco. And they have a bulk food section that includes chocolate-covered gummy bears. If that gives you any indication.
Okay.
$8 a pound.
When I was at Everfree Northwest last year, I took the bus to Walmart, and I rather enjoyed this. Everybody said that the shops at the Southwest Center, North, South, East, West Field Center had run out of pony goods, but I tell you what, the Walmart had not. I was able to.
I am assuming you mean the Walmart on Rainier in Renton. Yes. That is the worst Walmart I've ever seen.
It wasn't fabulous, but it had enough for me.
it gets the job done in a pinch. Yes. But I'm very, having seen several of that chain's fine establishments, I have to say that one really takes the cake as being the lower end of the spectrum.
It was accessible by bus, which was very important for me. And
it's very easy to get there by bus.
Yep,
please avail yourselves of our public transit system. It's not the best. I can
recommend it. They've got. I did not take the light rail, but it looked very simple and easily done, and the bus system was quite easy and friendly people.
Yes, we Washingtonians are friendlier than some, and the Link Light Rail, I should mention, has no branches. There's only one route.
Okay.
So if you sit on that train all day, it'll just go back and forth and back and forth. So you can't really get lost very easily. If you miss your stop,
just wait.
Just wait. Seriously, yeah.
Well, everybody, today we've been speaking with Markarian. Thank you very much for coming by.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Everybody, technically it's only 36 hours from Everfree Northwest, but, if you're free, tickets are still sold at the door, right?
That is correct. We are still, we're not sold out of registrations. We just simply have closed our pre-registration. Okay. So for any pony who did get in before pre-registration closed, your badge will be waiting for you. We'll call it registration.
Okay.
And for those of you who did not to worry. We will have a separate line for those of you who are still wanting to show up at the door, and you can still purchase a weekend pass at the door. And do remember that foals 12 and under get in free with a paying adult.
Woohoo!
And also have their own line. We basically are very, very big on accommodating our younger fans, because that is, after all, whom the show is aimed at.
Indeed.
And so we, go out of our way to make sure that the kids who come to our con have an extra special time.
That's great. Also, be sure to check out his YouTube channel for some excellent piano music. And look forward to when he can eventually announce whatever he worked on that I seriously have no idea. He can't tell me. But when he's able to announce what projects he worked on for films, then yay, we can listen to it. At some point coming up.
Yeah, that will hopefully be forthcoming, and I will talk to the director and see what I can convince him to let me do. So,
everybody, this has been Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network with Osaka Jack. We'll catch you next time.